it's Zoe Damaschino here. I'm here with Nicole, Vawter, and Officer Caruso, and we are just touching on a little follow-up after our What If Week video. We're here to ask some questions about the repercussions of your actions, so welcome Officer Charlie.
Hi, everyone.
So I think now just that we've all seen the What If Week video, we wanted to talk about some of the aspects with you, Officer Charlie, on like the legal part of it. So I think just to start it off, I know my parents after seeing the video were curious about this. What does it look like for a parent after, if you're like the parent of that kid who got the DUI? Like what are the costs, the insurance part of it, everything like the aftermath?
So a lot of it actually does get represented in the video. That parent is going to get a phone call if you're under 18 saying, things have already gone wrong to be at that point, but if then they go okay, the parent's going to get a call to come pick you up. And then it starts a long legal road of legal fees. Do you get a lawyer? Do you lose your license with DMV? If it's a really bad DUI, you could end up in juvenile hall if you're under 18, or you could end up in our county in the Martinez detention facility, or whatever local jail where you're at. So it absolutely is really serious. It's something that doesn't just go away. It's going to follow you with your insurance rates for a number of years. Like I said, and that's if you keep your license. DMV may decide that you don't get to have your license for a while.
Right.
You said that the DMV says you might not get to have your license for a while. Is that what is the protocol right after DUI? Do you have your license taken away for a certain amount of time? How does that work?
So right after you get the DUI, you'll get paperwork from myself or an officer that will allow you to drive temporarily until you schedule a meeting with a hearing with DMV. And then that starts the process, and they ultimately decide if you're going to keep your license or not. And every case is different.
Mm-hmm. What does the DUI look like on your record? Because I know with kids right now in high school, you're applying to colleges and you have to report things like that. So what does that look like?
It's on your record, and a college may not necessarily have access to your juvenile record, but if college asks you, it's an integrity issue, and often these things don't stay hidden. So if they ask you, have you ever drank underage or been convicted of drinking and driving, you're going to admit that to them, and that could keep you out of college or out of a career down the road. So or delay things until it's been a long enough time between that mistake.
So you've obviously probably seen a lot of this happen firsthand. So what kind of what warning would you issue to underage kids or anyone who is following kind of that route and taking those chances?
The first thing we always say is stay safe. We don't want kids drinking underage, but I always like to say, even outside of the age aspect, let's take that out and say that you're 21 and you wait. You still need to be safe. And that's why, to me, that's the first thing is you need to, if you're going to drink, have a plan to not drive, have a designated driver, somebody that will also make sure that they stay sober and they keep you safe. And that goes for, males and females, any age. So that's the number one thing is just be safe. I think it would be naive on my part or any, say, adult's part to think that no child or no young adult is going to not drink underage, but be safe. We don't want you to, but if it's going to happen, be safe. And even once you're over 21, be safe. Do it responsibly.
Right. So like you said that you could get a DUI any age. It's not just about being underage and drinking. What is the legal limit for if you are 21 and you're allowed to drink? Like how much can you drink and still drive legally?
So legally, the percentage is 0.08 BAC, blood alcohol content. Roughly, that equates to 4 drinks at like a single point in time. But it varies per person. So what one person might be able to have 4 drinks and not be overly intoxicated. Another person may have 1 drink and be intoxicated. So there's no really, if you're going to drink, you shouldn't drive, or you should have someone with you, especially until you're much older and you maybe find that you can have a drink, but yeah,
Right.
it's never a good idea, because so they teach us the first thing that the alcohol has an effect on is your judgment and your ability. So
So in the video, I mean, right now we're kind of talking about if you get a DUI, arrested, like slap on the wrist type on the record, but like we saw in the video, I mean, there was like deaths involved. So how does that, like, I mean, obviously that changes the severity, but how does that change the severity? Like, what is the arrest on that part?
well, if you're involved in a DUI that results in an injury or death, I mean, it can be murder. That could be the worst thing it could lead up to, would be murder. It might be a manslaughter. There's levels of technicality, but it's basically something you don't want to happen. You don't want to be a part of that ever. That would be the worst thing. Or even just hurting someone. And then how do you that's something that you live with the rest of your life. So that's why we don't want these things happening.
So as we come into summer now and slowly start lifting some of these shelter in place orders, kids are going to start hanging out with one another and start having parties or whatever you want to call it. So what's one thing that you want to say to everyone watching this as people start to, go back to our typical lives?
So yeah, even outside of the shelter in place, again, it's simple to say, but it's true, is be safe. Everybody needs to be smart and be careful, not go hog wild, even if as things do go back to a quote unquote normal, and you're allowed to get together more. You have to be safe, and that involves this, I don't know if this video is going to stand the test of time, but we're in the middle of a pandemic right now. And safe is more than just, that's about keeping your body healthy as well.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Officer Charlie. Unless you have anything else to add, we'll just kind of wrap it up. Keep an eye out on the Instagram for any other videos that is on steng.mob on Instagram, and on our YouTube, Monte Vista TV, and we'll be posting updates and statistics and everything like that. So keep an eye out. And thank you again.
Take care.
Bye.